SummerSlam 2008 continued the trend of recent SummerSlams. Good, but not great. I was expecting a lot from this pay-per-view. Unless, yeah, I was expecting a lot from this pay-per-view. Did it live up to the hype? I don't think so. But it might have, but it didn't. But it kind of did. If you catch that, if you didn't deal with it. All right, SummerSlam 2008. I believe this was the first one in L.A. I want to say not the first, but SummerSlam 2008. Da, 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 da. It was from, where was it? No, it was from Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Conseco Fieldhouse. Excuse me, my bad. I messed up. All right, let's start out with the matches. The first match of the night was MVP versus Jeff Hardy, and this was a fairly good opening matchup. These two guys have the talent to put on an extremely entertaining matchup for the fans. MVP at this time was a major heel, and Hardy, as always, is the face, a major face. The whole feud was pretty laid out, and the match itself was pretty good. MVP takes it to Jeff and gets in major fan heat, and Jeff takes it to MVP, and the crowd absolutely loves it. But in the end, MVP gets the win, gets the pin for the win. Probably not expected for most to see Jeff Hardy lose at a major pay-per-view, but I loved it because I don't like Jeff Hardy that much at all. So, yeah. The next match is the winner-take-all match, tag team match with Kofi Kingston and Mickie James going up against Glamorella, Santino Marella, and the Glamazon Beth Phoenix for the Intercontinental and Women's Championship in a tag team match. We see both Kofi and Mickey's titles pitted, which is pretty cool. The match, for what it was actually a very good pay-per-view match. Santino is pretty underrated for his ring skills, and the man can work a decent match. Plus, he's funny as shit. In the end, Beth Phoenix pins Mickie James to win both titles for her and Santino Marella. Match number 3 was Mark Henry versus Matt Hardy for the ECW Championship. Yeah, what a waste. The build-up was done well enough for Hardy to go over at this point and win the ECW title for Mark Henry. But the match itself was an outstanding 33 seconds as Matt Hardy wins by disqualification. And Mark Henry is still your ECW champion despite the loss. This match sucked. Plain and simple. Match number 4 was CM Punk defending his World Heavyweight Championship against John Bradshaw Layfield. It was probably an overlooked title match. In my opinion, it made for the best of the 3 world title fights. The match may not have been a match of the year candidate, but Punk and JBL put together a nicely done match. JBL works Punk over for most of the match, with the entire match making you wonder if CM Punk was a fluke champion, which is what the bookers booked him like in his first title reign, which is absolutely dumb. Although in the end he catches the GTS on JBL for the win and retains the title. Not the best match, but it was still a pretty nice one. Okay, now we get Triple H defending his WWE Championship against the Great Khali. Again, with all the competition on SmackDown, we get the Great Khali as the number 1 contender again. Shoot me now. It's a pretty weak match. Triple H doesn't even look good in this match. I'm liking Great Khali now that he's with his recent face push, but he was pretty low at this point with entertainment value. This match was extremely boring with a lot of "you can't wrestle" chants. In the end, Triple H hits the Great Khali with a pedigree to retain the World WWE Championship. It was a pretty awful match. It's another wasteful match. What a waste. Which brings us to John Cena versus Batista, booked as one of the biggest matches in this generation of wrestling's history. Now, normally I would call this a fairly average match, but with the entertainment value, it was a pretty solid match. John Cena and Batista trade back and forth with solid amount of time. It is hard to determine a winner in the midst of a match, but because both were getting fair offensive time. And in the end, Batista is able to get the Batista bomb on John Cena for the win in a pretty good match. And that brings us to the main event of the evening. Edge versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match. This was the match of the night. It didn't fully live up to promise, but the action was far better than anything we have seen in the night. Pretty nice spots from these two, as it was their last encounter of their 2008 rivalry. Undertaker was huge with the crowd, coming off the recent comeback after he was banished from the WWE at One Night Stand. Edge surprisingly gets some cheers as well for his riveting performance. In the end, Undertaker gets the victory and chokeslams Edge through the ring, pins him 1, 2, 3, and pretty good booking overall. And that is SummerSlam 2008 out of 10. I am going to give this let's go with a 5.5 out of 10, same as last year. Best match of the night, hands down, is the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and The Undertaker. And the worst match is probably either the ECW title match or the WWE title match. Pick and choose. I don't know. So yeah, that's SummerSlam 2008. Coming up next, 2009.